All right, welcome back, everyone, and we're gonna carry on with our budget deliberations. Up now, we have Matt Oldham, our Chief Building Official. Good morning, Matt. Please go ahead.
Good morning, Madam Mayor and members of council. Hopefully gonna be quick and see if we can get back on track.
No worries.
So I just wanted to make note, for revenue sake, I didn't do a VIP for this because it didn't meet the threshold of the 10%. But I did put in the budget as a reduced, proposed revenue for building permits. And that's based on, the historic data from this year, seeing a trend. So it did reduce the revenue, expected revenue, down to 325,000 from 350. So just wanted to make that note off the start. I do have two items in the building information papers. One is the legal budget. So legal fees. I am proposing an increase in legal fees, and that's based on an average over the last 4 years. So our budget last year was $8,000. At the end of September of this year, we were already almost at 16,000. So we did look back at the last 4 years. Actually, if we looked at 5 years in 2021, it was showing a zero as legal fees, and the next year was around 25,000. So you know, there's a potential that some of that was a carryover. You know, we were still in COVID at that time, so maybe some you know, some of the invoices didn't get sent over until the next year. So based on the 4 years, we were looking at approximately 13,500 as an average. We decided to put forward an increase at 12,000. You know, hopefully we can stay within that. But that's based on some of the items that we had currently that were ongoing for a number of years. We've been able to close those this past year. So hopefully that'll address some of the difference. But we do expect that there will be other legal matters coming up. So any questions on that?
Oh, no, Jim does.
Matt, do you think there will be an increase in revenue next year with the way everybody seems to be holding back?
So I've reduced the revenue back 25,000. So,
I see that, but not from your actuals. So.
Yeah, actuals. I'm hoping based on some potential development that we have in the works that there's a possibility of an increase. We also did see an increase this fall from the summer. So that's a bit of a trend that we're hoping continues into next year. But you're right, there was definitely a decrease this year. But hoping, you know, that the fall increase, I call it a blip in our
I hope you're right.
revenue. So if you look at the building permits that were issued in October, especially, there was a significant increase, applications and building permits issued in that time. November, it was probably a little bit less than the October, but we're still seeing some interest. So I'd like that to continue hopefully for next year, obviously, but yeah, I want to be realistic and realizing we're probably not going to meet that 350,000 threshold that we had set for 2025.
Okay. Good. Yeah, Colin?
Are we able to get a breakdown of the revenues to find out what's bylaw and what's building?
There should be. I don't know if that was something that was sent. You're looking for actuals for this year or proposed for next year?
Either one, probably both.
So
I have a
I have-
document, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, I have a document here, I mean, I'm looking at for this year, for information requests, so that'd be compliance letters. A revenue of $3,500, that's an increase, from 3,000. From this past year. And
What's that for?
so that would be if somebody's selling a property. The lawyers would request a compliance letter, wanting to know of the open building permits, zoning on the property, if there's any work orders or orders to comply that have been issued against the property. It's something we do get a number of requests from lawyers on. It's not a mandatory thing whenever the property sells, but it is something that we offer as a service.
Okay.
So shoreline fees, we have the same, it's $3,500. And then, building permit or dog licenses, we did have a reduction in dog licenses. And that was based on a report that went to council earlier of changing the fee structure from an annual fee to a one-time fee. So we do expect a reduction in revenue on the dog licenses from 700 that was proposed this past year down to 400. So we're expecting possibly, 10 dog licenses to be issued in this coming year. And that's about it for the revenue side.
Okay.
Any other
Excuse me,
questions?
I thought he asked for a breakdown between the planning and the building
Oh,
permit.
the planning and building?
Is that, did I mishear you?
No, I was thinking, and it's. like, your report fits in with everybody else's, so I'm not suggesting that you didn't put anything in or missed something, but I think it would be good for council to know how much money is being returned through bylaw enforcement specifically, and having that separated from the building bylaw
Oh,
revenues,
okay.
and having that lumped in all
Okay.
in one big number.
Fine, he
Right,
answered it very well.
because the primary, and it's the building permit revenue that primarily drives that, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Yes.
So there's been discussion about an AMPS system, the administrative monetary penalty system, that, there's been discussion in the office here about implementing that, and that may be some revenue as well. I don't know that should be the driver of using that. I think gaining compliance is what we're trying to achieve.
Mhm.
And although there's a revenue that would be part of that, my take is that would be in addition to, the gaining compliance, but the driving focus shouldn't be to gain revenue to those,
Yeah.
in my opinion. So if there's no other questions, I'll go on to the next one, which is actually a reduction in expenses for the vehicles. So in 2025, in the budget, there was $3,500, and that was to include purchasing of tires for the vehicles. That was done this past year, so obviously tires aren't needed again this year, so that would explain the reduction.
You wanna teach everybody else how to do that,
Thank God.
especially Judy?
Wow. Man, feisty. All right,
Any other questions for me?
I don't think so. I think you're good, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you. Okay. And now we have Jason coming up, Public Works Manager, talk to us about the roads.
Hey, Madam Mayor, members of council,
Morning.
it's a nice day out today.
There is.
Today I have
So you're on, yeah.
today I have two budget information papers in front of council. One specifically, I'll start with hydro one, we're asking for a slight increase in the hydro budget. We've had some streetlight repairs last year, the year before. As the CAO alluded to, the money that we're asking for this year, excuse me, is based on historic trends projected into 2026. So hopefully that's accurate. But that's what we're anticipating for this year. We currently have some that we repaired now. And these repairs we can't do in-house either, so we have to hire that out with the company that the bucket truck, so. And so those streetlight repairs do get coded to that hydro budget. So we're asking for a $3,000 increase in that budget to accommodate those repairs.
Okay.
Any question?
Turn out some of the lights.
We have so many. Jim,
They haven't worn out yet.
No, I think what we're finding is not the whole street light. It's usually either the driver or the photo cell itself. So it's one or the other. Usually like an indicator that it's wearing out is like commonly you would see both of those issues, like, you know, having and multiple issues all at once. We're not seeing that. They're one-off items. So it's, you know, a street light over here, one over there. I think they were all installed around the same time. But I mean, if there's a point where we feel that they're aging, you know, we would obviously bring a report to council or account for it in the budget to replace them all.
what is the age on them? I'm trying to think that when we did, was it like 15 years?
I'm not sure. I think they're LEDs, so it would have been around that time that there was that initiative for energy efficiency
Yeah.
and the street lighting.
But the technology has changed so much since then too, that, right, like,
Yeah, I think, you know, just on topic, I think if we were going to do upgrades, I think it would be something we would talk with economic development too, that, you know, doing some municipal upgrades like aesthetics.
yeah,
So, but I think right now we're just looking at maintaining what we have, and then if we get to that point, we'll have those discussions.
okay. Okay, that's good. Next one.
Okay, so the next one is. It's the gravel BIP. Now, normally I wouldn't come and ask council to reduce my gravel budget. But this year there is a purpose and a reason that I'm asking for the reduction, and it has to do with, we're looking at addressing some of our roads that we feel desperately need attention, or some of our smaller segment roads. And normally our normal process for these roads is we hire hopper trucks, and we have the gravel spread and then we grade it. And that's how we do our gravel maintenance layers. The problem with these segments of roads, a lot of them are not adequate to get a hopper turned around on them. So we're gonna have to do them with our own fleet. And then I'm just trying to be realistic with, you know, what's achievable for us with the construction projects that we have on and keeping up with our routine maintenance. The other factor that I put in the BIP as well is that, you know, the municipality, since they adopted that 5-year surface treatment plan, we have surface treated a large segment of our gravel road network, and we're going to continue that. So we can start to see some reductions in some of these budgets. You know, and the materials and supplies budget, didn't meet the threshold for the BIP, but there was a reduction in the calcium in that budget as well, just based on that, the surface treating that we've been doing. So this year I'm asking for a decrease of $22,021.21.
Jim,
Jason, this is great, of course, but nice that those treated roads are now saving us some money. But when will we be looking at having to redo those roads, you know, put another coat on them?
It's hard to project out. It depends on, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but generally speaking, I think, you know, we're looking at that probably 7 to 10 year window on most of them. And I think we'll be looking at maintenance layers similar to what we did on Tucker Street. So we'll be looking at micro surfacing. The county's been doing quite a bit of that. I think it's a more durable surface as a maintenance layer. And doesn't, discolor as quickly. So they tend to melt quicker because of the color. So, yeah, I don't, I think that's what we're looking at, and we'll adjust that, like when we come into projecting some of these projects in the future. Once this 5-year plan, at the end of this plan, there is some wording in that we'll look at maintenance layers at that time. And if they're still performing well, then in accordance with our strat plan, we won't bring anything forward. But if they are not performing well, we need to address them, then we will bring that forward to council and maybe recommend a change.
How long do they have to be down before you can put the microsiphoning on?
You can put down anytime.
Can you?
Yeah.
So it's not worth doing it on Coon Lake and down through there.
I wouldn't say it's not worth doing it. I'm just not sure the road's performing well now, I guess is what I'm saying, but there would be value in doing it anytime, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Well,
And with how long it takes to buy equipment these days, I admit I'm totally lost. What is the 2026 capital equipment, the $375,000?
That's a good question. I think, 375,000?
Yeah.
That was the truck that we purchased in 2023, or tried to purchase in 2023. We ordered it.
Yeah,
And we will take delivery of it in 2026.
okay,
So it's projected that we will receive that in June.
yeah. I think I can be excused for forgetting that one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It took me a minute.
Yeah.
The money for that is already in the funding.
Yeah, I can let Judy speak to that, but I believe it's a carry forward.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, 300,000 from previous OMPF and 75,220 from future capital reserves, because the tender amount came out higher than what we had thought originally.
So those figures aren't being added into this year's budget.
So it's offset. We've got the expense in there of 375,220 with the revenue, so it's a net zero difference.
All right. Anything else? No. You're good?
Thanks.
Just like that.
You're welcome.
Thanks for getting us back
Thank
on
you.
track. We're ahead of the schedule now. Jesse's gonna come blow that right out of the water. All right, good morning, Jesse, welcome.
Morning, Madam Mayor and Council. I guess I'll start right into our BIP. So the first is our revenue surplus of equipment.
Mhm.
So this is the selling of our old SCBA's and the old fire truck. So council wishes to replace, it was brought to the capital forecast. BIP number 2 is an expense. This is our communications dispatch. So this is, sorry, excuse me. This is our 5-year agreement that we have with Peterborough Dispatch that provides our dispatching services for emergency calls. Stop me if I'm going too fast here.
Quicker you are. You're there. Yeah, I remember you came back, you came forward, it was 2021 or 2022 to,
2023, we renewed the
Yeah,
dispatch.
but there was discussion, I remember
Yes.
you giving us the heads up, like this is coming, right? So, and it was a substantial increase, I recall, so we need it.
Again, under, I'm not sure, what do we got? Under contracted services or cleaning contracts, so with the hiring of our third fire prevention inspector with 3 of us full-time, we feel that we can keep up with cleaning of our fire hall station over there, so
Okay,
we feel that we don't require to contract that out.
okay.
BIP for uniforms and PPE. This is, so in 2016, we came to council because our bunker gear was getting old. Under NFPA, we have to replace bunker gear that is over 10 years old. So we we started that program, so now coming 2026, we're having sets that are starting to come up for a replacement. They're at the 10-year. And just so that council's aware too, we've applied for a $16,000 through the OFM, which is the Cancer Prevention Initiative. So we've put that towards our PPE bunker gear for this year. We also did that in 2025.
Yeah, can I ask just on the PPE, do you guys purchase that on your own, or are you with the county when it comes to, or with other municipalities? I just know at the county level, we talked about it. I think it was because with paramedics, but they've joined a bigger kind of group that includes like hospitals and everything else, so they actually, it's a pretty good deal. I just don't know if that's like trickled down to the fire departments in the municipalities.
So Madam Mayor, we haven't discussed PPE.
Right,
We have discussed other things like fire hose and fire trucks.
Right.
We've looked at buying, purchasing together.
Yeah.
But not PPE, no. It's something that we could.
just put it on your radar,
Yeah.
just because, like I said, it's been beneficial at the county. I know that they've experienced some savings, or well, not necessarily maybe so much savings, but just not increases necessarily, right? Like they've been able to really, it's been beneficial, so I just thought of that and good for future, but okay. You got a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just wondering, just a minute, I lost it again here. Yeah, the total expenses, this year went up 639,000. Is there a reason for that, or where does that fit, or is that the new truck?
Would be the truck.
Is that the new truck?
The new truck came into this year's money,
Mhm.
okay,
That
okay,
was ordered
so
before.
that's why it goes from 1,200,000 to 1,009,000. Okay. And you're going over 2 million this year,
Next year.
so you're going up $800,000 in expenses?
From budget to budget.
From budget to budget, yes. That's including all that.
Is that including that's including the
The
truck
truck.
and the
It's another
SCBA?
truck?
Sorry, yeah, it's including the truck, and you'll see in the revenue, that it kind of offsets, right? Like it's more than what was budgeted.
So the transfer from reserves is 681,000, that's what it's for,
684. Yes,
okay. Kind of confused, looks kind of confusing, but maybe it isn't to everybody else, but it's, I mean, but so what is the increase in the budget? If we didn't have another new truck coming in there?
the increase is the 125,890. 125,890. So I'll pull up the detail there. To see where that
Yeah, it's not the
is.
bottom, the variance budget to budget. Scroll all the way to the bottom. Okay.
Net budget.
So it's a decrease of,
590. Thank you, never mind, you got it.
Oh,
The ladies up here are quicker than you.
spicy.
Sorry for this thing in one of the emails back and forth, but there's a form for FUS, the AX4, that allows for the extension of an apparatus life. Especially if we're gonna be looking, we order this now, it's probably gonna be coming 2-3 years from now. Do we have an opportunity to extend the life of that one in the meantime to keep our good FUS grade?
So through you, Madam Mayor, I was speaking with Boss, and the form, yes, that you're talking about, the AX4, the 5-year extension form. So that form is for like unique situations where council doesn't have the they're not budgeting ahead of time, have the finances. Let's say we did budget and a truck does take 3 years and our truck is now at the 20-year mark. So now we are at the 23-year mark. It is for that. For us, for trucks, we purchased our last pumper within 6 months of getting approval. So we found demo trucks that fit our needs, and that's what we purchased, and that's what we would look at again. You have to look at if we go to the extending the 5 years. One, we won't get tanker accreditation, which we're gonna look at starting. I've started talking with FUS to get that. So we're not allowed to have a frontline pumper or a frontline tanker with a AX4 extension on it. They will not give us the accreditation. Also, if you look at our capital forecast, we're only allowed to have one fire truck on a 5-year extension, and we have some more trucks coming up to replace within the next 3 years. So I think it would start backlogging everything back, and I think that the negatives of going to the AX4 are the positive that outweigh the negatives, what I'm trying to say.
Are the trucks coming out, some of the ones that are down to number 2 station? Or are they all in your station or number 1?
So through you, Madam Mayor, the next truck to replace is Station 1 Woodview.
Is it?
Yeah, and then our 2 pumpers would be another 20 years from now, would be replacing, so.
All right. Anything else?
Now I gotta find my spot, sorry.
Got to be going forward.
Yeah.
I believe our last one is the dispatching, or the paging, sorry.
Yeah.
My apologies. Is the paging, which council was aware that we brought this to council in 2022, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I lost my spot here. The paging radios. And this is for our pagers, for our notification of 911 calls. We received notice that our current provider was closing the doors, so we went out as the county chiefs and the CAOs were involved in this. And we listened to presentations, and through that, Bell is who we recommended. And I believe council is where we went through the whole, and we signed the agreement, and this is the start of the paging for 2026. If Judy wants to speak to how the finances work on that one, there's too much in and out for me.
Back to you.
Yeah, so originally we did budget for the whole amount and then it didn't happen and then it was only so many months, so we were carrying forward the amounts that were not used each of those years. This year is the last year that we have some that we can carry forward. I think it's around 23,000 or something. That we're carrying for it to offset some of that expense. So next year you will see the full impact. Is it 90? How much is it?
I believe it's 71,000.
71,000. And there won't be any more revenue to offset that, so that'll be the total impact next year.
Okay.
It'd be an awful expensive date.
Which we're going with that, you know?
That, you, Madam Mayor, that's all the VIPs I have for this.
All right, thank you, Jesse.
Thank you.
Okay, and up next, Alana, Planning, Police Services and Emergency Planning.
And first. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, do the library, please.
Where do you want, I mean, we can, they just, but I mean, there's, well, they're scheduled for, we're still gonna be, I don't know, how long are you gonna be on that?
Probably not too long.
Okay, we'll go through, we're still on schedule. Let you guys settle in and warm up.
Okay, the first BIP and the planning, so for the planning department, the numbers, there is quite a bit of a shift because when this budget was done in 2025, we had a senior planner and a junior planner. So there were a lot of more on the wage side and the training side, and now that we're council's direction currently is using the consultants, you'll see quite a few shifts, so I'll run through the VIPs. So for the planning application fees. I'm including a revenue amount of 55,000. The 2025 budget was 63,250. But year to date, right now, we're at 38,310. So it's a considerable difference. So I do think that we need to lower it. As the deputy mayor mentioned earlier, the current economy has had an impact on building and planning and people kind of holding on to their money. Hopefully the rates stay where they are. People will be encouraged to do more development. So there's also been changes in the legislation and with the housekeeping amendments that were made in the comprehensive zoning bylaw, it's lessened the planning relief required in some of our cases. So we also have that at play. Saying that, we do have one community planning providing the in-house services, so there may be an uptake. So I didn't want to lower it too much, but have lowered it by $8,240. So I did lump a lot of accounts together in the training fees. So obviously, previously we had training fees and all the related expenses, memberships and employee expenses related to having 2 employees. So we have those set at 0 in the current budget. Planning consulting fees. So this is quite an increase. So it was $25,000 in 2025. The reason being we have the senior and junior planner in-house. And they kept that amount for cases of conflict of interest or other requirements for consultants. But now this account has risen significantly where salaries have decreased. Salaries have been removed for the senior and junior planner and do contain the 10% for the CBO, who's overseeing, reviewing the applications, and 50% of the building and planning assistant wages. So the salary has reduced quite a bit, and I'm suggesting $140,000 for consulting fees for 2026. And this would cover the estimates for one community planning, JP2G, as well as a little bit of a buffer, which might go towards the comprehensive zoning bylaw review.
So you do have money in here for the comprehensive zoning bylaw review. But on the screen this morning, you said there was no money in it for it.
Yeah, I said it, yeah, I kind of qualified it. I don't know if I have enough in here because I'm not sure if it's gonna be like 10,000 or 40,000 or 50,000. I have what I think will cover the 2 contracts that we have. The actuals to date for this year are estimated between 100,000 and 115,000. So if you're looking at this year's actuals, I put in 140,000. So there's a little bit of wiggle room. But that could also be up through the 2 consultants, depending on the number of applications we get next year or any big projects that may need planning relief. So it is a bit of a gamble and a guessing game, but it's kind of on the positive side above our 2025 costs, anticipating some of those other situations.
Okay.
And office supplies. Again, lowered this to $500 from $3,950. We still need to supply and pay for some of the office supplies in that department for planning notice and things like that. But also in there was $3,000 for office furniture, that is being purchased in 2025. If it's not required next year, that'll ensure that now there will be furniture in all of the newly renovated offices. Good. Vehicle gas. So when the building and planning departments were split, one of the vehicles was assigned to the planning department. Our consultants have basically been, on the rare occasions that they are going out or doing a site visit, they've been using their own vehicles, and their mileage rates are part of their contract, so that's included under the planning consultant fees. Currently, the Public Works Department is using that vehicle. And they're taking care of the fuel and repairs and maintenance.
Yeah, go ahead, Colin.
If they're taking care of the fuel and maintenance, what's and it's not a huge amount of money, but the 1430 left in that category for 2026.
I believe that that's, would that be the copier contract?
Yes. And I think your share, like the mats and things like that as well.
Yeah, so the costs of, like things like the mats and the normal services that are provided. The cleaning
So,
is divided between building and planning.
yeah, and again, it's not a big issue, but does that just mean that the repairs and maintenance 2025 year end just likely needs some updating for that year end? And we have spent more than $102? Okay. Yeah, just the way that it looked, it made it look like a dead category, basically.
Yeah.
That we were
Only the 102.
injecting money into. But if it's not a dead category, there's just things that need to be posted, and that makes total sense to me.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Sorry, in the third quarter, I guess we didn't pick up on what will be spent to. Normally we say projected at the end of the year, so that's probably where it doesn't show that.
Yeah, and it's been sort of like the, being the 2025 was kind of the initial year of separating the building and planning department. Partway through the year, we kind of realized that, okay, well, the copier should be split, the mat should be split, so we've been onboarding different accounts and doing that throughout the year. Okay. And planning legal fees. So reduce this category from $30,000 in 2025 down to $15,000. And part of this reduction has to do with there's only certain people that can appeal planning applications now, so that has reduced the number of appeals that will be coming on. But there still are legal opinions that are required from time to time on legislative questions. So I cut that in half. And there also may be some legal questions come up with the comprehensive zoning bylaw. Once the official plan's approved, so. Lowered that. Okay. I think that's it for the VIP.
Yeah. I will talk with PP.
Policing. So in the policing, it is an 11.1% increase. Funny enough, we have an 11% cap on our OPP contract, which does line up. So I'll talk about the OPP. VIP is to do with the requisition from the county.
Which we just approved.
Yeah, so we did just approve that. That's the $5,866, which is a reduction from the 10,000 that we put in this year. It's a 16% increase in the board budget. And then the other OPP contract, VIP. This has to do with our actual annual billing statement and contract with the OPP to provide policing services. As I mentioned earlier, it was capped at 11%. So the total amount is $1,036,507 that is included in this budget.
We're back up over $1 million, just like that.
And the background that I wrote on here, you know, it was, we were looking at, you know, the difference last year when this billing came out, the province reduced it by 152,000 to the 933,790 that we had in the 25 budget. And then this year they went with a 11% cap method, so that's what we can do.
Yeah, what were we provider, like, I remember we were freaking out because it was like a 3 or 4% increase on our budget last year with what came forward, but the 933 was very close to what we had, or the year before, right? We were around the 900,000, I think. Right, so this,
900 to $1 million was
Yeah.
always close. Yeah.
yeah, so we were kind of on a decrease over the last few years since they made the changes to the billing. Because we started off at $1 million when this all came through. Up from $500,000 from way back in the day,
Yeah.
or less.
A day, yeah.
And now here we are again. So, and who knows for next year, is it going to be another 11% increase capped?
Yeah, and that's where when you look, like even last year when they reduced it by the 152,000.
Yeah.
And the change this year, it's, now it is 1.45% budget.
That's the increase.
That's the increase on our budget. So, okay.
Okay, so.
$102,000 increase.
Mhm.
Roll tech.
There are no VIPs for this category, because it was under the threshold, in the individual categories. But basically, last year, in an effort to reduce our budget percent, I did cut a lot out of this budget. I did add it back in, but the difference really, like the total amount of expenses is 3,650, so we divide that out.
Okay.
Basically adding in, the largest one there in materials and supplies is we're, in need of getting some more sandbags this year, and I had taken those totally out of the budget last year. It includes $500 for sandbags.
Okay. All right, so that's it then.
And that's it for me.
Yep, anything, I don't see anything, so, okay, thanks, Alana. And we are definitely ahead of schedule, because now we're ready for the library. You guys were scheduled for noon, so good. You can get in and out before lunch. Yeah, if you want to come up. And present your huge budget to us. Absolutely, yep, yep.
Okay, just to start, to give you a bit of background, back in September, the board had made a motion to ask township staff about wages.
Oh,
is
yes,
that on?
sorry. Just press the button.
This one, top? Okay, got it. All right, so back in September, our library board made a motion and sent it off to staff to talk about their concerns regarding some of our lower paid staff. We haven't heard back on that, only that the compensation review was complete. I believe it still may be before council. I haven't heard where that's at the final decision has been made on that. So we still have ongoing concerns about those lower staff wages. And then we've now come to see, just yesterday that the budget, Judy did a lot of great work for us and the budget is a lot lower than the percentage is lower than the one the board submitted to council in October, November. So, we need all your expertise, because it's quite different, this budget, than the one that the board okayed to come to council. And we still have those ongoing concerns about wages for some of the staff members. Can we defer the library portion of the budget and bring it back to the board in January? Has that ever happened?
Well, this is a first draft for us, so I mean, I don't expect that we're approving it today. We do have our final council meeting on December 16th. I don't know whether or not, no, if I'm getting a no or not. So then it would mean
We need your.
January 13th would be our next council meeting. I don't know if we'd be scheduling, I don't think we would be scheduling a special budget meeting after today's meeting. I think we probably deal with it within a meeting, so January
So the
13th.
board meeting would be the end of January. We could call a special meeting. That's never a problem, as long as we have some.
I'm just looking to Judy, like, what are you thinking in
Yeah.
terms of, you know, what their concern is? I mean, you're saying there's a difference between like the
Putting a
amount.
difference between what the board submitted and what is turned out to be.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the difference was, I think, about $7,000 or something, where I calculated, all I changed was the salaries and
Yeah.
wages.
We
So,
wrote them up today, yeah.
yeah, you know, Manulife has gone down and with some changes and everything, I did the calculations and it just reduced it by 7,000 and something. That's all that was changed.
Yeah.
We can certainly, well, if you like, I can come to a meeting and we can sit down and look at details or whatever.
Yeah.
So that we can try and be ready for the library budget to be passed. I don't know, do you want a meeting with the board before?
Or would it make sense?
Ms. Duffy?
I think we do, because the coming year is difficult for us in some ways anticipating costs, because we are going to have some staffing
Some
changes.
Yeah.
And we already had sort of an ongoing concern about, for example, the librarian for Woodview. I mean, we're doing much more programming there than we previously had. We're very happy with the ability to offer people in the lower North Corinthus some programming that's more accessible for the children there. But I think it's very difficult for us to say this budget's going to work without the board meeting again to kind of talk about it.
So I mean, the reality is, I mean, we've approved, when did we approve last year's budget? Did we approve it in February? I'm trying to remember, right? I mean, it may be, like, I mean, that may be just the reality. It might be okay, right? Like, I mean, it's fun, because we've been, you know, as I said, this is our first meeting. Typically, the last couple of years, we've delayed our first meeting from November to December, just because there's been it's been very challenging, right? To try to get all the numbers together. Alana.
And I can speak a little bit to the compensation review. We are still working through the results of that,
Yeah.
because it was a broader base from
Yeah.
all of Ontario to more local. However, there were a few areas that were identified, but none of the library board positions were identified as a concern in that review. But I believe that recently you've changed, like, most of the minor changes to your job descriptions wouldn't impact that, but there's more major changes to the branch library. And
Yeah.
that's something that we can maybe look at a bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that one's changed pretty significantly.
yes,
Yeah.
and, yeah. And, maybe.
So I would think that you would be okay then, I mean, at the end of the day, to go back to the board at your next board meeting. And then
Okay.
between now and then, I think, yeah, you definitely need to work with Judy as
Yeah.
well too, but just
Yeah.
make sure you're presenting, you know, accurate amounts, so the board knows exactly what they're approving and sending to council,
Yeah.
right?
So you're saying we could actually wait till the January board meeting?
I
And not,
I don't know, I mean,
and not call a special?
or you could have a special meeting too, I don't know, I mean, I'm,
Yeah,
the end of the day, I mean, I don't know, I mean, if like what our intention is or where our plans are in terms of when we improve this, right? Judy, tell us.
So it does depend where we end up today.
Yeah.
With council suggestions, we're looking for that.
Okay.
Obviously, we want it to come down. I was hoping that we could pass it at the January
Okay,
council meeting,
yep,
but if not, then.
Which one would that
wait
be?
till?
that's the 13th.
It'd be
It's
the
the 13th.
first meeting in February then that it would go.
So what would be your suggestion for us to have?
Well, I think we'll have discussions.
Okay. you can let us know.
Because like the board approved, they were okay with that budget.
Yeah.
And all that got changed were the salaries and wages. So if they were okay with all the other items, I don't know what else, are they looking at increasing them or?
It would all be to do with wages, yeah. Yeah.
So the only thing would be the first week of January, if you were to call a special meeting, and then, because our only council meeting in January is the 13th. So it would be like the week of the 5th, if you
Mhm.
needed, it would just be, specific to your budget, right, if you needed
Yeah,
to do that.
which we could do.
Yeah.
I think, for myself, I would like to consult with the whole board.
Yeah.
Before, just because the bottom line figure is fairly different. And there's probably more details in terms of working out this staffing change that maybe
Okay,
we need to look at it in that context too.
okay,
We knew the broad changes, but not maybe how it specifically plays out in
sure.
salary.
Okay, so I mean, that's reasonable and it's appropriate, I think,
Okay.
but,
Yeah.
Thanks.
yeah, there's no hard and fast deadline, right? Like, we want to make sure that we get it right, so,
Thank you.
okay, all right.
We can do that, yeah, and just as Kathy was saying about the branch librarian, if you do get a chance to go in and have a chat with her, she is just making such community out of that library. And people there are so appreciative of everything she's doing.
Mhm.
It's pretty amazing how one person can kind of just create a hub
Oh,
for
absolutely.
the
I mean,
whole area. So
there was mere
yeah.
story time, never happened before. I went twice. I can't believe I was asked back, but anyway, no, I loved it, and actually, I have to say, and I know you guys have heard this from me before, but I mean, the amount of positive feedback that I have received, especially in the last couple of years, related to the programming that the library does, I mean, with what Lisa's got going on there too, like, it's just, it's unbelievable, and, you know what, I mean, I mean, the library's my baby, you know that, for so long, right, but it's really great, and how libraries have changed so much over the years, right, but it's
Yeah.
been positive.
Yeah.
Certainly, but a really positive impact on the community, so.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work, we wanna make sure that you get your budget right, so you can keep on doing that.
And from the board, we wanted to also thank you when we had, a difficult period during this year. And I really thank the council and the staff at the township for their support. It was very meaningful to the board, so thank you.
It was a challenge, but I think overall it became a very positive thing and maybe an ongoing annual thing. Which I love, so, but anyway, no, that's great. Is there anything else? Anybody have any questions? No, so
Thank
you,
you.
yeah, work with Judy, get back to
Yeah,
your board
yeah,
and see what you
okay.
can do.
Thank
Have a
you.
Thank you
nice
very
Christmas,
much.
ladies.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Drive safe, you got so far to go back to the door. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, and Judy's coming back up. We're gonna do Administration, Health and Conservation Authority. Thanks, ladies.
Let's have it. Good for things all around.
General government. Mhm.
Excuse me.
I'm gonna-
Where are we starting, Madam Chairman?
Admin, health, and well, probably with the admin stuff, and we're gonna be going through the VIPs on that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to refer to that.
Is that under general government?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the first one is in revenue, the penalty and interest on taxes. We increased this a little bit. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate that we are, because that means there's, we're getting.
There's challenges out there.
Yes, there are, but we figure that looking at this year, average and everything, we're increasing it up to 140,000.
Okay.
Next one. Next one is the road allowance purchases. So this, not to confuse with the shoreline purchases. The shoreline, any dollars we get from sale of that goes into the Parks Reserve. Sorry, into our, I think, future capital reserves. The road shoreline or the road purchases, the roadway, they are a revenue to us. And last year, I always go to the secretary downstairs and say, what do you think might be coming next year? So our best guess is, was it 9,000 and something? Which is a reduction from last year of what we sold.
Yeah, Jim.
Dan, as it looks like things have slowed down on the tax front. Obviously, if we're gonna put, all this interest on them, how bad is it?
So there was an increase over last year. I don't remember the exact amount. We did put it up a little bit from this current year. Sorry, I didn't mean last year. It's not great, that's for sure. I've just sent out the notices, final arrears notices, and there was about 1,000 arrears letters that went out in the month of a week ago.
No.
And there were 40 additional letters that went out for properties that are 3 years in arrears.
But 1,000 overall.
Yeah, normally that would be what, 700?
Yeah,
That
about
would go
that.
out?
Yeah, between 600 and 700. And I don't seem to be, usually when an arrears letter goes out, usually we're inundated with phone calls from people, the apologies that they're late. For the last, I'm gonna say 3 months for sure, those phone calls aren't coming. We do get some, but not to where it used to be. And I have not received, I've only received one phone call on the 40 3 years in arrears
Wow.
letters that I've sent out.
So I understand it correctly. It doesn't matter whether we collect it or not. We have to pay the county their share anyway.
And
Yeah.
school board.
So that's coming out of our budget,
Yes.
or out of our money.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a lot. That's an awful lot.
Sorry.
And we're going to increase it by 10%.
Perhaps.
Okay, are we?
Yeah, but we're just digesting. That information, but yeah, go ahead.
This is another big one to digest, is the interest on our bank account has, rates have gone down. I talked to our bank manager or, our representative and, what can we do? We review what we're doing and, I don't know. Unfortunately, that's where we are with rates right now.
Well, they held it steady
Yes.
today.
So that's helpful.
Okay.
It's helpful to you. It was, I guess, as a township, but not as individuals.
Personal.
Go up a little bit. I forget what I said about this one, training fees. Training fees, we just budget what, is appropriate or applicable to positions. We don't say, hey, let's, knock ourselves out and do all this training for no reason. So it goes up and down each year, just according to what we think is needed. So where are we here? Let's see.
Mhm.
So we are increasing over previous year. I don't think it's a whole lot, but
Mhm.
3,673 more.
Mhm.
Okay, so staff training. The next one I think is along the same lines. Is it the mileage or?
The
It's a
mileage, yeah.
mileage train. Yeah, so kind of, matches this, but, looking at more courses can be done virtually, but some can't, so. Same thing where it can go up and down each year depending on what's required. That's not moving. Donation. Donations, okay, so I did list where we're at with donations, what we have in there. We took out the which one was that? The Kawartha
Chamber.
Chamber
Yeah.
of Commerce, thank you. I'm having a hard time reading. Because they haven't been requesting that lately. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but why have it in there? And
There it is.
yeah, so increasing the community care each year as directed a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
And I think miscellaneous is 1,500.
Mhm. That's the donation account that we talked about when we.
Yes,
The council.
for whatever,
Yeah.
yes, that's right, the 1,500. And then, yes, new this year too is the cemetery. Now we put in 2,500. I wasn't sure how much to put in there, but I thought I'll start with that. Council wants to increase it, we can, and we can go up to 13%, but.
All because of that.
Or if you want to read these.
People dying.
Okay,
No, that's appropriate. Okay.
okay, next one.
Are you frozen?
No,
Stuck?
when it's on full screen, I have to do a couple more steps.
It's okay.
So that,
No
this
worries.
is consulting fees.
Consulting fees.
Okay, got it.
You do all our.
What?
Reading on
Go
that, I
ahead.
can make a comment, so just, going back. To the bank interest, when you look at 110,000 less. That's another 1.55%. That we don't have.
Consulting fees increasing by 7,250. So part of that is listed there are closed meeting investigator agreement, surveys for properties that, can be determined this year, which ones will be done. Integrity commissioner and the asset management plan is in there too for next year. Next is it legal?
Yeah.
Legal is a tough one to predict. Get it open here. So, just lost it. Sorry. So we're looking at increasing it this year. There's one legal issue, at least one anyway, that's expected to go forward into 26. So, and again, as mentioned previously, legal fees can be up one year and down the next, but we do know about the one.
Right.
And we're general government is kind of a catch-all for some of these legal expenses that, you can't really put to this department or whatever, and we just put it all in general.
Okay.
IT services, okay. That's what we pay to the county. And they actually suggested we go $5,000 less this year because they did a true up at the end of the year, and with Mackenzie doing more and more here in the office, then it cuts down their time. So this is actually 5,000 less, which good news. Okay, elections. We have an election next year coming up.
Yes.
So, we're budgeting 40,000 and there's some coming to offset that because each year, if you remember, we do
Yeah.
put money in each year, the 3 years prior to help to offset some of the costs for this year. I tried to talk Connie into reducing it to about 10,000, but she won't. I thought she could just go around and get votes from people.
I think so.
Yeah, yeah, help people to write in if they want to.
Computer equipment or maintenance on computers. Yeah, this is the council ones that they were replaced this year, so obviously we don't need to budget the 7,000 next year again.
Okay, so they're here,
They're
they're
here,
going to be replaced?
they will be deployed this year.
Okay, okay, all right, you got a week, couple of days. It's okay, mine's not crashed yet or anything.
The hopes are they will be deployed this year.
But we've got them, the expense was in this year,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
that's right. And I think, is that it for general government?
Yes, yes.
Okay. We can move
Yep.
on unless. So going no VIPs, pursue health, nothing for health. So you just wanna hear my voice? The only thing with health is that we're carrying forward some of the renovations. I think you'll remember in the capital forecast, we're doing 200,000 we expect next year.
Yeah.
Which will be offset from the revenue
Excuse me.
from the OMPF. Okay, and then Crow Valley, I think we've mentioned that earlier in the letters, so it's a overall 2.5% increase in the Crow Valley.
Mhm.
See, showing. I think that's pretty much it. So we're ending up at the 2.51%. For now. And like, I think Alana did mention, we do have some checking to do when we get closer to the year end figures and we can see what can we, pull over, carry forward to help offset some. I really don't expect it to be a lot of money, but anything would help at this point, so. Again, hopefully we'll bring back the budget in January, we can look at that, but we're also looking for council's direction if you have anything.
Okay,
You mean direction for us?
okay, so I'm just conscious of the time here. Connie, you said you have to leave.
I'm okay till 12.
You're okay till 12:30. Council, you think we can
Yeah,
give
let's do
some
it.
direction and discussion in the next half hour?
Yeah.
Or less, okay, so I don't have to do a hard break for lunch, all right. Okay, well, thanks for all that information. So my mind is exploding. Who wants to start off? Nobody, you love it? Just go for it.
Yeah, what's 10.5%?
We've never tried double digit before, it'll be a new experience for everyone.
Foreign elections, 10.5% is the new 3%?
Let's cancel the election.
That takes a lot of money.
That's 40,000 out.
The tax rate, and we gotta remember, that's the levy dollar to dollar, right, for the tax rate is still a single digit for now.
One thing, I think it would be a good opportunity, and I've seen it done in the past with some other towns, and I think we've done it. But just make a pie chart, because we are responsible for collecting everybody's money. I think that people assume we hold all that money and we can do what we want with it. But when on my tax bill, more of the money is actually going to the county than the township.
Yeah.
I think it's really important that our ratepayers have a very clear pie chart of how much money goes where and what they handle.
Yeah, and the education part of it too is huge, right? So,
Yeah, we do have it on the website, the percentages.
Yeah.
For it, yeah, we have for each, the county, school board and township, and then we also have a pie chart for the departments for the municipality.
okay.
I don't know where to go on that side of it.
Okay.
I've never seen one like this before.
You're welcome.
Alana.
And if I could comment on that, we have had quite a few discussions amongst the CAOs as well, and I know that there have been several people who have said they've never really faced a budget year like this. And, you know, very uncomfortable bringing these high percentage budgets forward, but it's almost like, you know, it's a compounding of different things. So, you know, you look at that lack of 110,000 in interest as an impact. Then you look at the increase in the LPP is 103,000. And just overall, the impacts of not having the assessment. And really to reduce, you know, some of the average service, like you'd have to be lowering your service level. If you don't want to maintain some of those budget to budget changes, they're just natural occurring increases in cost of living. So it is very difficult.
I think part of my problem is I feel like I'm in a paper bag. You know, we know that two of our main people are leaving. We don't know when. We're going to do staff changes and we don't know exactly what their jobs are gonna be because things are gonna change in the next months or a few months, but I think that's part of my problem with not being able to handle this, because you're talking almost 4% just in the staff changes.
So, yeah, with that, because we did this org review, right? And we knew that going in. I mean, I don't like, there was never been an organizational review done in all my time on council, which is like 23 years, right? And we are finding, I think we've always been very good to operate very sort of lean and mean, and but we've seen the changes over the years and the increase in the workload and the demands. I mean, I know, you know, staff, when you take a vacation, right? You know, you're supposed to actually take the vacation and not look at your email, but when you come back, you have thousands of emails to deal with, right? Like that's just a little thing, right? But just understanding, I mean, you know, the org review wasn't necessarily a surprise, but it's still like that big reality check that smacks us in the face. Something that I was thinking about, and I'm gonna throw it out there and see what council thinks about it. And it kind of stems from discussions that happened at the county over asset management and monies that are put aside. Like, you know, the county doesn't start at a zero budget. They start at 2.5%, which is a dedicated infrastructure levy, right? And last year we had a big hike in our county budget. There was a big percentage increase, right? And Jim, you spoke to it too, which I think kind of stunned everybody. It was like, man, that guy is the most, he's the most like sticky on when it comes to like increases. And he was like, hey, I think we got to do this. So, you know, so I think it helped in terms of the county budget this year, right? But one of the things that was discussed was that when I came onto council back in county council in 2018 as a rep, we were told we had, what was it? It was like almost $1 billion or $100 billion with our asset management deficit. And then as,
100 million.
or what, 100 million or what, I don't know what, I feel like it's a billion, but anyway, it was huge. And now as we've gone through it, like here we are however many years later, and actually the estimated amount is about half of that. So there was some questioning around, you know, the amount of money that we're putting aside each year to put into it, how much work we're actually getting done. Are we estimating in today's dollars versus future? There's a lot of stuff about that. We also know, we just did an update with our asset management plan. And there's going to be like a big update coming in next year, right? And we have signed on to that amount, that I can't remember whatever option it was, the amount of money that we put away each year, right? So, and I know too that, we got more OMPF money coming in. So right now, the current amount that we have, what is the current amount that we have going into our, I've got it written down, $385,300 is going into our asset management contribution for this year. So, and one of the things that I always say, and I've said for a long time, is the biggest asset that we have in our community are our people. And that's true for North Kawartha as well. I mean, we couldn't do anything. Doesn't matter how many trucks we get or how much gravel we get or whatever. I mean, if we don't have the people to actually do the work, right? It's not getting done. So what I'm wondering about is that when you look at every 70,000, I'm just trying to think, $70,884 is a 1% increase in the budget. So I was looking at, when I look at that budget, I'm like, let's just say I want to cut it by 5%. Right? That would be a reduction of $354,220. And like I said, the AMP contribution for this year is 385. 300. So what if we considered that, reducing the AMP contribution into that and utilize that to bring down the cost when it's related to, I mean, with staffing, but it's more than that. I mean, staffing is 3.78, right? But I'm just, like, as I said, looking at a 5% or whatever. Because it's, the reality is that, you know, we have put monies aside. We do have those reserve funds. We are upgrading and investing in our assets and replacing and doing all of that. And knowing that we're having a whole comprehensive review in 2026 of the asset management plan, which may impact what we will be setting aside going forward. I'm just throwing it out there as something to consider, because we are in extenuating circumstances. I mean, every year we know it's always different, but certainly this year with what's happening internationally, at the national, politically, all of that stuff, right? Cost of living increases are happening everywhere. You're talking about even with the arrears notices that have gone out, that huge increase over last year. So that's what I'm throwing out there. And Colin had his hand up in the middle.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you.
I was not expecting.
No.
From anybody, not just you, I'm just saying.
No, it's, I have a really difficult time hearing the county is gonna be starting at 2.5% and.
It's been the way it's been for a number of years, but.
Well, I know the
Yeah.
intention's good, but was it 1,000 arrears letter?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't morally, I can't do that. I can't say, I'm just gonna insist that for our future, we're gonna continue to grab more money when there's clearly a lot of people being left behind.
Yeah. One of the things, just to get back to the asset management thing, and it's something that the county has lobbied consistently at all the conferences and delegations, is to talk to the province about having consistency when it comes to how these plans are developed. Because even the minister's King Surma, she has clearly stated, like, you know, like at least 50% of these asset management plans aren't sustainable. They cannot be funded. Like, it's unreasonable, right? And everybody's doing different things. And like I said, when it came up with, you know, what we were told 8 years ago, what our deficit was versus what they're saying it is now, it's like, well, what? And these, like, you know, you've got all these consultants out there getting paid a lot of money to tell us what we're gonna, how much behind we're gonna be, you know, over the years, right? Jim?
Well, this company says that the first one was wrong. The $100 million was never even in the picture. Now, here we've been going along for all these years saying we're $100 million behind, and they said there's absolutely no way.
It's half of that.
It's not even a feasible amount. The 50 million is sort of the nth degree, you know, you know, these damn plans, I like our plans. We got a 5-year plan for the road. Jesse and Judy work together and make sure they've got money available for a new fire truck, so we don't get hit with 600,000 in 1 year. It's all there sitting ready for the next year, and so on and so forth. And you pay a hell of a lot of money for these things. You know, you look at these asset management plans, everybody's paying a fortune for them. And to have somebody come and say the thing was absolutely wrong for all those years. And 2.5%, Colin, to me, and of course, that's how, you know, you don't even talk about it. Well, we gotta talk about it. Because it's stupid. And not only that, the other thing is these development charges. Now, somebody wants to build a house here, what's the development charge, $12,000?
Total development charges over 15,000.
$15,000 for somebody to build a house here, and all that money goes to Peterborough.
And we don't charge.
That's for
And
new.
we don't even have a development charge.
Right.
Well, you know, it just, the whole thing is like a big balloon, and it's going up and up and up. And one of these days it's gonna burst. And it's bursting now with 1,000 letters going out to people who are behind on their taxes. My God, folks, you know, that's a terrible, terrible situation.
Glenn, do you want me to just let them keep going before you jump in? Okay, okay, Colin?
Yeah, not to try to be dramatic here, but what it very much feels like to me is they've got 2.5% that they're setting for a big project in the future for infrastructure. And they're gonna make some giant bridge and there's gonna be a bunch of people sleeping under it because of it.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about 1,000 letters, sorry, and I keep thinking about what's the total number of properties that we have in North Kawartha?
Around 7,000.
Around 7,000.
Yes.
So 1 out of every 7 has gotten letter.
So the
Wow.
biggest impact that I see is to people who are on a fixed income, which is mostly our seniors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I see as having the biggest problem in being able to pay their taxes. And the other thing is this year, the number of people that have wanted to go on the pre-authorized payment plan that have higher tax values because their assessment is high, usually those people just paid on installments. And now they're not, they are paying on like the 10-month plan.
Right.
Because it's more affordable to them. And that's a big change that I've seen.
Yeah.
This year.
One nice thing about that though, Diana, is that the taxes are paid.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And when they're on that pre-authorized plan, they don't get charged penalty either.
Sure.
And so
It's that
That-
ease, that convenience and peace of mind.
it is,
Yeah.
it's a huge peace of mind.
Yeah, Matt,
If I may ask a question, how many, or do you know how many of those arrears are associated with the administration fee for open building permits that hasn't been paid?
Oh, no,
Not really.
no,
okay,
rarely,
Okay.
yeah.
all right, Alana.
Go first and then Jean might wanna add on after I finish. I certainly hear everything that council is saying. And I do, in a lot of ways, agree, we're in a unique situation for some of the reasons I said. The assessment being a big part of that. The only caution, I guess I would say, is that, I'll just use an example. If you used an equivalent similar to what the mayor mentioned, you're trying to cover maybe that 3%.
Right.
Of the staff changes. That would, I'm sure, be appreciated by the ratepayers this year. But it cannot be forgot that when those full wages come back next year, you're looking at that 3% increase to start. Plus
Man.
any COLA.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I wouldn't if council chooses to do that, but you may not want to do that large of an amount,
Do a portion.
would be my thought, and I don't know if Judy wants to add any comment or.
No, I think you've covered it, and I know council is aware, like you transfer from reserves or you use OMPF or whatever. You're making up the next year, and there's already some of the staff changes that we budgeted only for 10 months. So we'll have the extra 2 months next year to,
Yeah.
right, to bring it up to 12.
Yeah, so Jim, we're gonna go, you still got,
Just want to follow up on that if I can.
yeah, go ahead, yep, and then, and Jim.
So, I mean, that is one option that, we can go back and we can look at, one, we're gonna look at the carryover, we're gonna see what we can bring, but we're not anticipating a large number there. We can also look at maybe making some of those adjustments instead of 10 months, it's 8 months, so we can make some minor. I'm not gonna say major, we might be able to squeak out a few minor reductions. But next year, just saying that we are kind of in an unpredictable place. It's hard to say. Next year, if we get assessments, we certainly don't want everyone's assessments to go up unreasonably. And certainly not based on the COVID prices. So there's a lot of consideration into what those assessments will be. But maybe next year you will have an increase in the assessment base if they finish reviewing that act and reassess. So that might help with that, if it was a 3%. that you funded this
Yeah.
year, next year. It's just very difficult to say, but as staff, we need to point out that
I know.
it's just delaying a percentage, so as long as council's aware when you decide on that amount.
I've never suggested something like that before. I get it. But yeah, Jim and then Paul.
Yeah, Carolyn, I agree with you to a point, what is our reserve now in this account? Do we have it separate or is this just in general?
No, it is separate. Our future capital.
Yeah.
Oh, I have that. If I remember correctly, I think it's around, is it 4 million? I think,
Around $4 million sitting there?
I believe so.
Then you have general
And
reserves,
then there's general.
so you can look at
Check
general.
some before.
Well, great, but the general reserve is what? 3? Like, are we about like total reserves
Between
about
3 and
7?
4. It's a little more, I believe. Might be 8 or 9 or so.
And the 385,300 goes into the future capital,
Yes.
right? That is the asset management contribution portion.
Yeah.
And like I said, the reason that I bring it, sometimes we don't put all of that in because we do some purchasing in that year. I get that, right? We've done that before. And like I said, my whole analogy of people and the best assets we've got, whatever. It's just that I just really, I mean, the more I thought about it in those discussions that we had at county and just the challenges around the asset management plan and the difference and what our deficits are and the recommendation, like I mean, I get it. I know what I'm talking about delaying, but I also think like, as we continue to sort of like work with the government to say like, hey, like there needs to be some kind of standardization when it comes to how we do these plans and what's achievable, what makes sense. I'm just saying like whether you take it out of reserves or not, like rather than putting that money into the reserve, we keep it out. And maybe it's a portion, maybe it's not the whole amount. Like I said, if I was at 5% equals $354,220. If we wanted to reduce that, that's what we would reduce the asset management contribution amount. So like 30 grand we putting in this year, right? So I don't know. Colin, didn't you have your hand up?
Yes, so I'll go on something completely different and
Do it.
kind of grinchy here, but
I agree.
I think it's important to bring up. When it comes to COLA, municipal governments actually seem to be one of the very few bodies left that are using it. It was introduced in the late 70s when inflation was astronomical and double digits. But since then, the federal government and provincial government hasn't included in almost none of their contracts for employees. I'm not saying we just go down to 0, but considering we also have that additional, I think it's like 15 steps that people have been advanced through. Five.
15.
Start.
There are opportunities as well for annual salary increases. But sort of basing it around COLA, inflation, there may have been some sort of really good justification through COVID when it jumped up. But now that it's back down at almost 2%, the public administration line for share of settlements with COLA, this is the Canadian government site, is basically 0.
Mhm.
It might be something worth revisiting at some point.
So can I ask then, like, how does that impact? So we always talk about being at 50th percentile when it comes to our wages and salaries. So like, what if we didn't do a COLA, what would happen to that? Or can you answer that?
I believe, every 1/4%. Looking at Judy to make sure I get this right.
Every 1/4% of COLA. So if we went, we're saying 3% right now, if we went to 2.75, that would bring it down by 0.12, I believe, 0.12.
0.12, so
On
every
the dollar to
1/4%.
dollar. If we went, say we said 2.5% instead of 3, it would bring it down 1/4% overall.
So if you took it down 1, it would lower it by
Half.
Or,
half.
yeah.
It's not that big. So say we got rid of, so we got rid of the 3%, you're only talking 1.5% when it comes to
It's not.
And then like I said, does that mean we're no longer in the 50th percentile?
Well, and that's what I was gonna say. I do think we put ourselves in a less competitive position. Knowing not only that I did give the range of the COLA increases in surrounding municipalities. What they're going up, plus the fact that we know that there are already 2 or 3 that are at 60%. And knowing the budget number we were coming in, we kept to the 50% rather than looking at 55 or 60 percentile. We thought maybe that could be phased in like next year at 55%, but just knowing how high the budget was, we did keep it at the point or the 50th percentile. But that 3% in some way at least keeps us competitive. But certainly that is a decision of council.
The average that you said was 2.9. Right? Jim?
Hmm. I'd like the money to come from somewhere. I am taking it out of something that shows that we're taking it out of that category and using it. I would much rather have Judy work out putting that into reserve or whatever you do with it, and that we lower it by the reserves. If you know what I mean, so that it doesn't look like we took our capital forecast stuff and put it and said, okay, we're just gonna move it over.
So I think if I understand, so to still do the transfer into the future capital reserves, but take out whatever amount from general reserves, like we did during COVID. We took out 104,000 or something.
Yeah.
And it's gonna have the same effect next year, yeah, that you're gonna be making up for that.
It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Well, yeah,
It's just-
yeah, if you're
it's
going
just
to do
optics,
it,
that's all. It's only
So
optics.
The amount that council is looking at, just to be clear, is what we would have been transferring to future capital reserves, except for the 21,000 that we're using, like that difference is that.
That's the 380.
Can you drop that number in and see what it would change there?
Did, so it would bring overall budget to budget down to 5.08% increase. And let me just see what it does to the tax rate.
5.0 what?
8.
And tax rate would then be.
Tax rate would be 4.25%.
Tax levy.
Yeah, the tax rate.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So that's 1742 for every 100,000. If we look at the average assessment of 427,810, that's $74.51 for the year.
Versus the 169 from
Yeah,
the 74.
That makes a hell of a difference.
It's more than half. Colin?
This won't be the first time I brought this one forward at budget before, but I really, really think we should start considering incorporating some of the OMPF money onto the operational side of our spreadsheet. At this point, to me, it feels like there's a pretty significant influence over the amount of OMPF that we get and what capital projects we sign up for through a year. And at this point, we're falling behind on projects and are now needing to add more staff to be able to catch up on those projects, increasing the tax base. But if we sort of shift some of that OMPF money around, it is like there's no strings attached. The government makes it very clear in their technical guides. We can, I think, get better value per dollar spent with some strategic investment on the operational side with it.
That was passed by bylaw back in 2004 or 5. That would be only used for capital. So you'd have to do a bylaw amendment to change that.
There's a motion, it'd be a resolution, right?
I believe so. I can look back and see.
Yeah.
But it's worked very well. And I hate like hell to see it go off capital because we're really gaining on the capital, especially the roads that are, and that's what people see is those roads. And we cut back on that, or if we open it up. Next council may use it all for capital, for, administration.
Well, but I think one thing to consider too is that it's been almost 20 years since we've had OMPF. I wonder when was it started?
We got first.
2006.
In 2003, and we got our first one in 2004.
I don't remember. I know, I'm thinking, I wanna say it was 2006, because it was like all the reasons why we needed to build a new council
We helped
office.
this building in 2006 with 3 years of,
I can't remember. It doesn't matter anyway, but the idea is that, and
It's 3
it's
years.
always the challenge of funding that could get pulled from you at any point, and we never know, right? And then, but certainly it has been consistent and we have been getting increases. It's just, I mean, it seems like it's consistent and it's steady and ongoing, right? Like, it may be something. I don't think, I mean, I'm not, maybe not for this year, maybe that's for like the new term of council to figure out like what you're gonna do with your funding. You know, what's gonna happen even with federal funds, you know, in terms of dedicated, because you remember when they came forward with the asset management plan, what they considered stable funding. It was that whatever the tax or the gas tax is called now, I don't know what it is, right? They banked on that. They said that's gonna be consistent, but nothing else really, I don't think was, right? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at this point, like,
Can we just give direction to staff to come back with a 5% budget increase, and the recommendations of how to get there?
at 5.08.
Because, we know that we have no qualms about using reserve to do it if we have to.
Yeah.
Also the staff look at the 3% and see if that's consistent across the board.
Well, it is. We did that. That
We
was,
already did it.
remember that the average was 2.9, right? And then ranging from 1.9 to 4.5. I wonder, which municipalities doing 4.5. And who's doing 1.9? But, yeah, I think that's the best. That's your marching orders.
You can change that, but that's the way I see it.
Colin?
Yeah, and it's worth reaching out to the Cavan Monaghan and some other municipalities about this, the one PF thing, because it looks like Cavan uses all of it for operational and none for capital. So
Yeah.
there's balances and things that can be made.
Yes, and I know there's one municipality in particular that we've talked about at previous years. And the treasurer said, man, I wish we did what you guys are doing, because they
Yeah.
used it right from the beginning for operating. And now they're like, how do
They were
we
trying
fund
to
our,
raise the taxes,
how do we fund our capital? They're
Killer.
they're struggling.
Diana and Mine.
I can speak on the Cavan Monaghan. Cavan Monaghan received revenue from the casino in is it Fraserville?
Yeah.
And that's the money they used for capital. And that's why they could use all of their OMPF for operations. They may, now that that's going to close, I don't know how much money they get because it's shared now with the city and
They
with,
still get a couple of $1 million.
yeah, so that's.
They used to get 10.
I worked there, so that's,
They used to get 10 million.
yeah.
And it's not that I'm suggesting it be like 50-50 or anything, but I feel like 100-0 does leave some risks. We're only gonna be considering operational, only gonna be considering capital.
I think it's, like I said, we're looking into, right? Because like I said, it's been around for all this time. Alana?
I was gonna add exactly what Diana did.
Yeah.
That municipality did have the advantage of having that funding.
Casino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So bring back a proposal for a casino. Oh, you got room? You got lots of space over there at Station 2, come on. Sorry, Jim.
If I could see anything at any of the deputations this morning, that I could say, hey, you don't need bunker gear, what the hell are you talking about? You don't need whatever, but I didn't see any of it. And, that's the really tough part. I was never gonna vote for 10, as you would know, but 5 with a 4 point something, you know,
Mhm.
tax levy, that'd be, I can live with that.
And we need the people. What, you know, at the end of the day, we need the people, so.
And for budget meeting two, are we able to get a full list of the projects that we have funded? That are just presently outstanding, and then there may be some that council reconsiders going through with, and we can recapture some money there. Because we do have a lot of projects that are approved, paid for, but haven't moved forward yet.
Right. And whether or not, but if those are funds that have been. Like, yeah, if it's OMPF money versus like specific grants that were received that are.
What are you thinking of?
So it's, and I know that some of it is future capital forecast, but it was something I noticed at our capital forecast meeting. Where like the actual amount of money that we have from OFPF to be spending right now is like 1.8 times what they give us each year. We're not able to sufficiently clear our previous year's OMPF on just capital items and get those projects done. And we had a backup because we're insistent on spending all the OMPF money on capital projects. And now we're looking to increase the tax base to make up for that backup instead of taking some operational money from OMPF that I believe contributed to this and offset it.
It's not an unheard of idea. It gets brought up at county by some councillors too about the projects that we plan to do every year that don't get done. And then, yeah,
Get back on
so, yeah, add that to your list of investigation.
Oh, we also going to make a motion with direction.
Yeah, Connie, do you have that motion? Look at,
I'm not the finance.
so, but Julie's been writing it down. I'm just trying to think what we discussed. We were directing staff to come back, like, with, I don't wanna say like 5 point, well, it was 5.0, if we took that whole AMP contribution. Like that amount, that equals, like you said, 5.08% budget to budget. Increase with a 4.2,
Make it 5%.
like it'd be a round number. Round down?
0.109.
It maybe, I don't know, find a little something to get it under that, that'll be, yeah. Which is a 4.25 or slightly less tax rate. But if that, yeah, if you can aim for that. Looking at what we brought forward, the OMPF stuff, the AMP contribution coming out of reserve, whatever, right? Like, and I know you said there might be some little things here and there that may come in. COLA, whatever, I don't know, I'm agree with them. But yeah.
And anyway, this, I'm not trying to, actually, I think we've done a very good job bringing it down and being responsible. But I do think it's an important thing to keep in the back of our minds where 4.25%, the individuals that are already struggling, sort of are gonna be facing the same cost of living increases that we do with hydro and current. So it's fantastic that we've trimmed it by more than half already. But I still think anything we can do in an environment like this is just responsible.
Yeah. Well, because it's a 4.25% tax rate for us, the county is 4 point something.
Yeah.
Right, like, and I don't know what the education one is, so, like, I mean, overall, like, I mean, we're like, you're up to 10% anyway. When you look at all of that, so I'm okay. Did you write that down? Whatever I said?
Yeah, so I think I need a little help with the
Okay.
wording from the treasurer, what I'm hearing, and I don't know if council, there was some discussion with the library as far as next meeting, so is that coming to February? A meeting in
No, I think
February?
That's between them.
I think their intention is they're calling a special meeting the first week of January to
Okay,
bring information back to the January, our January 13th, 16th, 13th. So
so
yeah,
what?
it's, that's the direction to come back for that meeting, not even for like the second meeting, our next meeting next week.
And maybe we don't need that in the motion, it'll just be to a regular meeting.
I don't think they need it as the most.
You don't need to have a specific date, because
so that council directs staff to bring the budget back. Do we say with a decrease of 5% budget to budget, or is it 4 point? That's what I need help from.
You want maximum of 5%,
There you go.
Sorry.
To a maximum of 5%.
Budget.
5% increase in budget to budget,
I'm sorry, could you?
Sorry.
That,
with a maximum increase of 5% budget to budget.
okay.
Yeah,
I don't know if you need to put that all in the motion, just that's the direction, but we've had the discussion here of all the things.
Using available funding.
Using, yeah, maybe using available, I don't know if you want to specify, it's just, you're gonna explore those
I don't
options.
want to pick which one.
Why don't you might leave it open to the 5% and just forget it?
That's what I mean, yeah, just.
And, Judy will work her magic with her red pen now, silver block.
Gonna be a red, big fat Sharpie, I know. Okay, is everybody comfortable with that motion? As comfortable as you can
I
be.
move it.
Okay, Jim makes that motion, Colin seconds it. All those in favor? Yep.
oh,
That's a lot better day than I thought we were gonna have.
is council comfortable with me bringing a bylaw for the salaries, everything with a 3% increase on the salary grid?
Cause it has to be approved by the last meeting, right?
Well, it can't, actually, Diana would rather I not do it until January,
It's
but,
whatever, yeah.
yeah, we usually try and get it passed, but I might not have time to get it for the 16th meeting anyway. It'll probably come with the budget on that day, but just if I can, cause to get the bylaw prepared ahead of time, it would be good to know if 3% on the salary grid is okay.
I don't think we got much choice.
I think, I mean, given the average, I mean, do it, I mean, cause I think these are things that we're going to be. We need to be explored more fully, like I said, by the next term of council for sure, looking at things like the COLA and our percentile and
Yes.
OMPF, all of that, right? But for right now, let's leave it in.
Thank you.
Okay. And we had that motion and it was passed. Okay. That's it. So. Right, that's it. Yeah, we didn't go into close. It was on their tentative, just in case we got into sort of spicy discussion about people. But we didn't have to. Anyway, just let me take the opportunity. I want to say thank you. This is extremely tough. I think this is the toughest budget I think I've ever been in, like in all my time here. And we're suggesting, things that we've never suggested before, but I appreciate, I know you guys have been working on it a lot. I know the last couple of years, absolutely. Like I said, we've always been able to kind of have our first budget meeting in November, and that's just, like, I feel like we're going backwards. Remember when I first started, it was like, sometimes proving your budget's not until the end of February into March kind of thing, and then we got it. So it was actually done by the end of the year. And now, I mean, it's shifting again, but I recognize it's a lot of effort on your part and a lot of work on all of the managers as well too, to try to be as lean and mean as possible. And I know it's not easy, but I do appreciate it all. So thank you. And
Thanks, guys.
yeah, and go back and do some more work now. I'm really showing my appreciation, right? By like, yeah, get out there and do more. But anyway, no.
That's your pat in the back. Now you get a kick in the.
Yeah. Anyway, but, no, thank you very much. And yeah, with that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Oh, confirm.
Pardon me. Sorry, can I have a motion to confirm what we did today? Moved by Colin, seconded by Ruth Ann, all in favor? That's confirmed. Motion to adjourn, please. Moved by Ruth Ann, seconded by Jim. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.